And so it's critical for companies to come together with other companies to make themselves better and larger, and instead of being so disparate across all of these small companies, what's a buyer to do, for instance? So we've tried to look at that from the UCBuyer's perspective. Is all that M&A good for a buyer?
I think, when you go back to that Gartner forecast of 74% of these guys all figuring out which cloud provider they're going to use in the next 2 years, that's forcing a lot of these really large players who aren't yet in the industry to figure out a path, because speed to market becomes critical. You can't just organically start building all this stuff, or you're going to miss the whole 2-year window there where most of end users figure out their cloud communications provider. So there'll be, because of that, a lot of M&A activity, consolidation in the industry. I think for the individual buyers, the thing they have to look at, they'll have big brands enter the market and a lot of resources enter the market. So on one hand, it might look like, well, I've got some choices I'm familiar with. On the other hand, it's really a little bit of the buyer beware of. You'll have people there's big brands that'll move into the market who are still really kind of on training wheels as far as providing some of these services. And most buyers don't know to look behind the curtain for things like service delivery and what systems do they use for their service delivery, for their billing, for their customer support, for their help desk and trouble tickets. To really know who's going to provide that ultimate customer experience, you can't tell just by the brand recognition. You really have to be smart on what questions to ask to know who's going to be able to best take care of you. And like a lot of the latest technology, it's not that the brands of the past sometimes aren't the brands of the future. When you look at companies, who's done a good job on the video collaboration like Zoom. I mean, who had heard of Zoom in the past, right? I mean,
out of nowhere.
Yeah, these brands aren't your brands of the past that are your well-known brands. They're, hard charging, very good technology firms that are creating the platforms of the future that are completely different than the platforms of the past.